So today I'm going to be giving you the exact step-by-step process to investing in commercial real estate. So this is specifically for whether you're a commercial real estate agent or a newer investor who's looking to get into the commercial world. This video is saying, how do you go from where you are right now to buying your first and very own commercial real estate deal? So let's dive in. So the first thing I want to talk about today, to make it super simple for you to go from where you are to be buying your first investment deal, is number one, you need to go out and speak to a commercial lender. Because more likely than not, you're not going to pay cash. And we're going to get to the next couple steps here, but it's all going to be based off of where things are in the economy and how lenders are analyzing deals. Because if you don't know how banks are viewing deals, it's very hard to do your own analysis. Because again, we're going to talk about that in a moment, but you could do your own underwriting or analysis of a deal, and it really doesn't matter because you can be completely off because the debt is actually way higher, the down payment's way higher, or way lower based on what you're saying. So you need to be talking to commercial lenders. This is typically the first thing I'll even say is talk to a local commercial lender. I have several people I can refer to you if you're looking for a commercial lender who can help you out in no matter what state you are in the country. So make sure that you're speaking to commercial lenders. This is the very first thing I would do. Talk to them about how they're underwriting deals, what type of DSCR ratios, which is debt service coverage ratios, do they look for, what type of cap rates, what type of details do they look for, what type of documents do you need to get to them so that they can underwrite deals for you, right? Because the cool part about commercial lenders is that you could actually use them as your underwriting team. Okay, you can leverage them and say oh, I'm going to send this to my underwriting team.
Like when you're talking to people about deals, I'm going to send this to my underwriting team.
Because if they like the deal, if the bank likes the deal, that means it's probably a pretty good deal. So make sure that you speak to a commercial lender, figure out exactly what they need, what they look for, the types of ratios they look for. And in this way, you're going to be in a really powerful position so that when you start underwriting deals, you're going to be able to make sure you're actually pretty accurate or pretty close to what the bank is actually looking for. Let's dive into number two. So number two is underwriting deals in a big way. So let me explain. This is still different than the bank doing their thing. Because you want to speak to a lender and get guidelines. Basically, that's the whole purpose of speaking to a lender. You're going to get guidelines, what they look for, kind of like bullet pointed stuff. When you want to write a deal, this is actually you have a spreadsheet and you're going to enter the information you collect from the realtor, the wholesaler, the seller, the whoever that you're speaking to. You're going to get all that information and you're going to plug it into an Excel spreadsheet. When you plug it in, this is all the income, this is all the expenses, this is, everything you could possibly imagine about the building, because you're basically analyzing a business. When you're buying a piece of property, you want to treat this like a business. How much money is it bringing in? How much money it is the cost to operate the business, the property? And then you're going to want to figure out, okay, what is the intrinsic value of this property in regards to what it's possibly selling for? Let's say you get all the income and expenses for a property and the seller says that they want $2 million, but you're running the numbers and it only brings in a net after all expenses of $50,000. You're like, well, the seller wants $2 million. It only brings in a net operating income of 50 grand after all expenses. So this is way too expensive. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not even going to continue doing this deal unless the seller is going to actually come to some type of sensible price point. Now, other scenario. Let's just say that you found out the net operating income after all expenses is $200,000. The seller wants the same $2 million. Well, now this is a 10% cap rate. Okay, that means the seller is looking for selling it at a 10% return, which is actually a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. For the most part. Depends on where you are located in the country. Again, just a quick example. But out here in New Jersey, that'd be a pretty good deal. So what you start noticing is okay, really quickly, does this number, does this somewhat make sense to the point where I should probably go take a look at it or make an offer fairly quickly? The more that you do this, the better information you get from your lender, and the more times that you underwrite deals, you're going to have a much easier time being able to then convert these leads into deals. So again, if you're a commercial real estate agent and you're trying to invest in property, this is something you should be doing for your buyers anyways. You should be pre-underwriting the deal for your buyer so you can send them all of your information saying, hey, here's all the underwriting, here's all the information, here's the leases, here's this, here's that, here's even a pre-underwriting from the bank, and here you go. And then guess what they need to do? They just look at it and go, am I okay with the return or not okay with the return? Or what's the upside of this deal? These are some things that I would try to get ahead of time. And especially if you're an investor listening, this is something that I would get very, very proficient at and practicing over and over and over again. You want to be able to know what information you need. Okay, so you need to have a checklist of all the information you're going to need and then get very, very proficient at underwriting deals yourself. So you get all the information, you know exactly what to plug in. You need to know, you learn how to read profit and loss statement, all the financials, understand how to read leases, understand the pros and cons of having all the utilities separately metered, or how to even make them separately metered possibly, how to negotiate certain things in leases where you can have a higher net operating income instead of your competition, which does not know these things. So this is why it's very important to understand how to underwrite a deal. Point number 3 is walk a ton of freaking property, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do is, now that you've spoken to your bank, you got all your details, now you're practicing how to underwrite these deals. Now you're gonna want to start walking a bunch of properties. So if you're in the business, looking for a 2-family, a 4-family, a 40 unit, a 400 unit, whatever you're looking for, you're gonna wanna go walk a bunch of properties, because what's gonna happen is you might not be ready to buy something right now, but you're gonna want to start being in the mental mindset of saying like, okay, when I am ready, whenever that is, it might be right now, it might be in a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, but I know what the bank's looking for, I know how to underwrite a deal, and I have walked hundreds of properties, so I know exactly what I'm looking for. You see a crack in the wall. Is that really an issue? Well, I've actually walked 80 properties so far, and I've seen that a bunch of times, and I know that based on these few other times, they told me that that was actually like a structural crack or not a structural crack. You're gonna be able to pay attention to these few things. Oh, there's mold in the windowsills, which means there's maybe a leak from the roof, or there's a leak from these windows. The windows weren't installed properly. Again, you can see all these different things because you've walked properties, and you're not gonna be able to tell. Again, when you're walking a 400 unit apartment complex, there's some very, very expensive things to be paying attention to. Is this one building, or is this 100 separate buildings? If you're looking at a warehouse space, how tall are the ceilings? Well, I don't know if you know this, because you might not have underwritten a lot of deals or walked a lot of deals, but properties that have 20+ foot ceilings are going to be way more valuable than properties that only have a 10-foot ceiling, even if the square footage is substantially larger, right? On a price per square foot basis. So it's just a lot of these little nuances and things you want to be looking for. This is why it's important to walk a lot of deals. When you got a deal sent your way, go out and check it out after you get all the documents. Point number 4, know your role. It's important to know that you are probably going to only be, because there's only 3 roles that you can have in an investment deal. When it comes to real estate, you either have the money guy, you got the deal finder, or you got the management guy. That's it. Realistically, there's only 3 roles here. So if you're not one of those people, you're probably not going to be involved in the deal. If you're the person who is fantastic at finding deals, but you're not the money guy and you're not the management guy, well, how much equity do you really think you're going to find possible in this deal for you? Probably not a lot, and that's what brokers do. They find the deals, they make a little bit of money. If you're also the money guy, if you find the deal and you're the money guy, you just suck in management. You might own the property and you can hire a property management company. If you're a property manager and you're really good at raising money, but you suck at finding deals, you might have to go find someone who can find you deals so that you can raise capital for the deal and syndicate the property, right? This is why I have a friend of mine who owns 2,000 apartments, and he's a fantastic operator, and he just has people send him deals. You just need to know your role. I was one of these before I became the next, and I've even realized I don't even want to be the management guy. I don't want to be. I just want to be, the person who finds great deals and the money guy. That's it. I'm totally okay with those 2 roles. I never want to be the management person. That's just me personally. So I'm going to buy deals a little bit differently than some people. However, there's a lot of people who can be incredibly wealthy, and their only thing they do is they bring the money. That's all they do, is they just bring the money. And you can be incredibly wealthy. You don't need to be the management, and you don't need to be the one finding the deals, because the money is probably one of the most complicated and also probably the highest return on investment positions. So if you've got the money, you're in control here. Figure out your role, and you're going to want to make sure you understand your role so you can have more success in the future. Point number 5, invest with a successful partner first before you do your own deal. I'm a huge fan of not doing your own deals, at least at the very beginning, because you might buy a property, and just because the bank finances doesn't mean you're going to make a lot of money on it. It might, it definitely might cash flow a couple bucks. It might not be a horrible deal, but it doesn't mean that you're going to make enough money. We're going to be super excited about real estate. This is why I think that investing, if you have like 50 grand minimum in the bank, investable, I'd say invest in, find somebody who is great at finding deals, who's a great manager, you could partner with, where you park your 50 grand in their deal. Because it doesn't mean that you need to know all these things. You might just be the money guy, and that's totally okay. And you just take your 50 grand and then you invest it in a deal, right? Or if you've got 5 million, right? It's the same exact game. You might have $5 million in the bank because you're a fantastic business owner and you make a lot of money. Doesn't mean that you need to now understand how the whole real estate game works. Like I have, again, friends of mine who are fantastic managers and great at finding deals. They raise money from people, who might be like yourself, who just have some money sitting in the bank, and they just don't want to know, you might not want to know everything about real estate. You might not want to manage a deal. You might not want another job, right? You take your money and you invest it in their deal, and you get a percentage of the deal, right? Sometimes a very large percentage of the deal because you brought all the money. I'm a huge fan of finding people who are more successful than me or more successful than yourself, taking your strengths, which might be money in this case, or might be finding the deal, and you just merge that all together. Point number 6 is learn how to find fantastic deals. So we have a video about this, is how you find great off-market deals. Make sure you check that out. But just a quick overview. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to learn how to find great off-market deals. These are properties that are not tied by anybody else, not another broker, a wholesaler, or anybody else. You are direct to seller 100% of the time. For the most part, obviously, listen, if a broker wants to make some money, that's fine, but they need to be direct to seller. If they're bringing you the deal, that's okay. Ideally for you, I'd recommend that you learn how to find deals and you become direct to seller so you don't have to pay any extra costs. Because think about it, if a broker's involved, that means if the deal's $2 million and they want to make 6%, that's $120,000 in commissions that's being paid out when you can have a $120,000 discount. Just make sure you're paying attention to that. It's a really lucrative point to pay attention to. So if you're just an investor, it's something to be, also be thinking about. Now look, I would also recommend that you also find a great commercial broker like myself all around the country, wherever you're located, and you talk to them about what types of deals you're looking for. Because if you're looking for a multifamily deal in the state of New Jersey and you call me up and I have a great amount of off-market product that I could sell you where I know you're going to make money on it, we would have a very good relationship. And there's a lot of commercial brokers like me all around the country who would be able to support you, right? Same thing on the commercial real estate agent side, where like if you're a commercial real estate agent, you don't know how to do that, you can partner with people like myself who can teach you and educate you on how to find great off-market deals, because the more off-market deals you find that are at great prices, you're going to be able to make good money. Period. End of story. Point number 7, buy the freaking property. If a deal makes sense, it makes dollars. And even in this type of economy where interest rates are high and property values in some instances can be very high, there's still a lot of great deals out there. It just means that you got to hunt a little bit harder. Does not mean that don't buy real estate. Like everyone always talks about, you want to buy real estate and wait. I don't care about the economy, as long as a deal makes sense right now, which is a good price per square foot, great amount of upside, a great price per unit, what have you. If you find that right now in this type of market, you will make an absolute freaking fortune long term. So listen, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or anything like that, make sure you put it in the comment section down below. We read each and every single comment. And again, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.
If you're still watching this video, that means to me that you're a committed real estate agent and you're looking to take your life and business to the next level. I'm just curious, why have you yet to schedule your free, no obligation coaching consultation? All you have to do is simply go in the description down below, and people are telling me this call has been the most unbelievable, the most powerful call they've had in their entire career. And here's just a few of the individuals who have taken full advantage of this call. And my mission is to support as many realtors as possible, build a 6- and 7-figure net income business so that they don't have to rely on this industry anymore for their everyday income. If you're a committed realtor, which I can seem like you are, all you have to simply do to take full advantage of this free coaching consultation is to go in the description down below and schedule your free call now.